In this video, I'm going to teach you the most important thing that I've learned in my entire life. This one thing is the only thing that can make you free in today's world. The one thing. And that is understanding the relationship between money and time. And once you understand that relationship and you actually want to be free, and I mean completely free, then you have to understand that you need to buy your freedom using money. So that's what I will be discussing in today's video. Basically how to reach FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. But make sure you stay till the end of the video because I'll be showing you a 5-step system that anybody can follow so that you can actually reach financial independence, and then if you want to, you can retire early. So that is what this video is about. Let's get started. Hello guys, my name is Ricardo Torres. I'm the founder of Escaping to Freedom, where I teach people like you how to get more freedom in your life through dividend growth investing. But more on this later. First, I want to get something out of the way. The world runs on money. You probably know this. It probably sounds really obvious, but it does. If you have money, you are going to have more freedom and more power. If you have no money or very little money, you're kind of screwed in this world. That is simply the way the world works. Now, there are two main ways to earn money, at least two legal ways to earn money. I'm not going to talk about illegal ways to make money. Now, the first way is to work in order to earn that money. That is called active income. And you're effectively trading your time in exchange for a paycheck, in exchange for money. That amount of money is directly related to your time and whatever your hourly rate is. So that is active income. Now, the second way is to let your money work for you. Let your money actually make more money. That is called passive income. And basically, it completely detaches your time from your ability to earn money. At that point, if you make enough passive income, it doesn't actually matter what you do with your time because your money will still be working hard to make more money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That is why passive income is so important. So this is the most important thing that I've learned in my entire life. I learned this in my 20s, I'm now in my 30s, but that is that if you want time, and bear in mind that time is the most valuable resource that we have as humans, and it is limited, okay? Your ability to earn money is not limited, your time, unfortunately, is limited. So in order to get time and be able to choose what you do with that time, you need to be able to earn enough passive income to cover your expenses. That is it. That is the number one thing that I consider the most important thing to understand in life. And if you understand it, that's when you can actually do really incredible things. But just imagine for a second, what would you do if you had complete time freedom? If you knew that every single dollar of your expenses was going to be covered by the money that your money makes? Would you travel the world? Would you change careers? Maybe pick up a musical instrument that you've always wanted to learn? Or perhaps just spend more time with your friends and your family. The point is, you will be able to choose what to do with your time instead of a boss telling you what to do with your time, or having to spend that time doing something that you don't really enjoy just to make money. That is how you become free in today's world. But now you might be asking, hey Ricard, how do I actually do that? What is the process? Well, let me tell you. In simple terms, you're going to have to buy assets, and those assets will make you money. Now, if you don't know what an asset is, I recommend you read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It was life-changing for me. But basically, an asset is something like a stock or real estate, something that appreciates in value, that is worth more over time, and also that asset should provide you with money, should provide you with passive income. Now, my favorite asset, the one that I believe is the best to reach financial independence and early retirement, are called dividend growth stocks. They're simply stocks of really well-known companies such as Procter & Gamble or Apple or Coca-Cola that pay you dividends. A dividend is just money that the company makes with the profits that gets paid to you if you are a shareholder. And you don't have to do anything to be able to earn that dividend. That is automatic. If the company makes money, a little bit of that will come your way. All you really have to do is, know a little bit. I'll be honest, you have to know a fair bit to be able to buy that stock, to be able to analyze the company. But once you've bought it, you just keep earning dividends for the rest of your life if everything goes according to plan, of course. Nothing is certain, but this is as close as you can be to having certain passive income. At least that is my opinion. I am not a financial advisor. you have to do your own research and basically decide what is best for you and your circumstances. Now, I'll tell you more about dividend growth investing later on in the video. Basically, my entire channel is about dividend growth investing. It's what I'm personally doing to reach financial independence. So make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want more videos about that every single week. But basically, the two main questions you might be asking yourself are, number one, how much money do I need to have invested to earn enough passive income to be able to live? And secondly, how long is this going to take me? If this is something that's going to take 70 or 80 years, what's the point, right? You might not be alive by that point. So to answer those questions, it really depends on your situation, but you must know three different numbers. Now, number one is how much money you actually earn, how much money you take home after taxes, after everything. Number two is how much money you spend, because knowing that is going to let you know how much money you can then save. And number three is how much money you've already got, how many savings you've already got. Perhaps you're starting with zero, or perhaps you've already got, an inheritance or some money already saved up. All of those three things factor into how much money you're going to need to save from now till early retirement, as well as how long it's going to take. So the question becomes, what percentage of what you own and what your assets are worth do you need to be able to live, right? What percentage of that do you actually need to cover your expenses? Now, there's two main trains of thought here. There's a lot of people that want to invest in index funds, which is something very easy, by the way. And then, one day that will grow up to a certain point by which they can withdraw 3 or 4% of that. And in theory, at least according to a study called the Trinity study, I've got some thoughts about that. I'll make a video on this in the future, but make sure to Google that, the Trinity study. It's going to tell you that if you are able to only withdraw 4% of everything that you own, of the principal of your investments, then you should never run out of money in the future, even in the worst of stock crashes, etc. Now, the second way, and my much preferred way, is to simply use your dividends. If you have a dividend yield of 3 or 4%, you should be able to only spend the dividends that you earn, which means that your principal is left intact, which means that when you pass away, you can actually leave that to your children and your grandchildren, and it shouldn't be affected, and that nest egg should actually grow over time. Therefore, by using dividends to actually live and pay for your expenses, you don't have to sell any shares and your principal is left intact. Either way, whatever one of those two ways you prefer, the answer is 3 to 4%. Now, if we are going with 4% needed out of your entire principal, that means that to get to the amount of money that you need to retire, you simply have to multiply your annual expenses by 25. That's going to give you how much money you need to then be able to withdraw 4% every year, and in theory not run out of money by the time that you die, right, for the rest of your life. Now, let's say you want to be a little bit more conservative and only go with 3%, then you're going to have to multiply, again, your annual expenses by 33 this time. That's going to give you more or less a 3% withdrawal rate or 3% dividend. Okay, that is the simple maths. Now, if you've already got something safe or you've got some sort of money or some sort of asset already, whatever that is worth now, just subtract that from the overall number. Because if you've already got some money, you've already got some savings, some assets, some investments, that means that that is already money that is going to get you closer to that goal of financial independence. Now, I mentioned that you need to know those three numbers, right? But actually, and this is the really interesting part, and the part that might really make you realize that this is actually quite possible regardless of where you are in life. And that is that how much you've already got, unless you've already got millions, is actually not that important as you might think. What really matters is how much you make in relation with how much you spend and then how much you can save out of that. Because if you divide how much you save per year by how much you make per year, how much you earn, that's going to give you possibly the most important number or the most important percentage in all of this. And that is your savings rate. In other words, your savings rate is how much you are able to save out of how much you make, okay? Now, most people have a really bad savings rate, something around 5% or even less, right? It is not great. Now, the higher the savings rate can be, the quicker you will get to financial independence and then being able to retire early. Now, what's really important is that if you know your savings rate, that's going to actually directly be able to tell you how quickly you can get to financial independence. It doesn't actually matter how much money you make. Whether you make minimum wage and you save, let's say, 30% of that money, or you make six figures and you also save 30% of that money. Those two people would get to financial independence in exactly the same time. Obviously, the person that is on minimum wage has a lot less money that they actually need to earn in passive income to be able to live, whereas in theory, the other person, the person that earns six figures or maybe more, has a lot more, has a much higher target to reach with passive income. Now here, the ideal thing is to earn a lot of money and spend very little. Have that savings rate somewhere around 60, 70, 80% even. That is crazy and not a lot of people will get there. But if your savings rate is about 30%, that is what I normally recommend. 30%, aim for that 30%. But if you can get it to 40, 50, or even 60%, then you'll actually be able to reach financial independence in a relatively quick amount of time and actually realistically be able to retire in your 40s, perhaps even your late 30s. But here comes something really important that you must understand. Freedom and being able to have all your income paid by passive income is not binary. It's not either like you have none of it or you have all of it. It's actually, and this is really key here, a gradual process. It is a gradual incremental process. And within your first couple of years of doing this, you're probably already going to be able to cover some of your bills every single month for the rest of your life. Take, for example, your electricity bill. Now, I've had a look. In America, the average electricity bill every single month is around $100 per month. Now, how much money do you need to have invested to be able to earn $100 per month? The answer is $100 per month times 12 months in a year. That is $1,200. And then if we're going for 3% dividend yield, right, which is something a little safer than the 4% that some people refer to, then you have to multiply that by 33. That actually comes up to $40,000 invested to be able to consistently generate those $100 in dividends every single month that can actually pay for your electric bill. Now, think about how much time you have to be at work just to earn that money to pay that electric bill, or whatever other bill it is. Maybe it's your mortgage, maybe it's your water bill. Whatever it is, every single month you have to dedicate a few hours just to be able to pay that. But with passive income, that is already covered. And like I say, it's probably not going to take you that long to get to this point, especially if you can actually save a significant amount of your money. But don't worry, because you won't actually probably need to save those $40,000. If you do this for a few years, your money will actually grow over time. I've actually made a video about this. You can click here. It's called How to Retire by 40 with Dividend Growth Investing. In that video, I use a spreadsheet that I've made myself that you can download for free, by the way. It's going to be in the description of this video. Just click on that and then you can actually play around with it. You're probably going to see that you don't actually need to actually save that much, right? So even with a modest savings rate, you will realistically be able to grow your principal as well as your income without really having to do that much work. That is the beauty of dividend growth investing, and actually just anything that uses compound interest, because that is the eighth wonder of the world, as Einstein called it. And this is actually what I'm doing. That is my goal. My goal is to reach financial independence before I am 40. Now, I'm actually fairly close to that point. I've been working for many years. I've been learning a lot. And while I'm not there yet, I can actually cover a lot of my expenses just with the dividends that I earn. It's not all my expenses, but a lot of the basics are already covered by passive income. And that's the thing. Once you've got that passive income coming in, you get freedom in your life, okay? You don't have to depend as much on a job or a paycheck. You can then do things that you wouldn't have been able to do before. Like in my case, I quit my career in engineering. I did it for a few years. I was like, this is not for me. I want to start my own business. I want to teach people about investing and about personal finance and how that can actually bring freedom. That's what this video is all about, guys. Having the passive income already there, having my food, my bills already paid for every single month by passive income from my investments, has actually allowed me to do things like move to Spain, start a business where at the beginning I was earning nothing, okay? That money, that financial cushion allows you to take risks. That's why I really encourage everybody watching this to save money, to invest it, to have that nest egg that, one that's going to be able to pay for all your expenses. And even if it doesn't, even if you never get to that point, you're still gonna get passive income coming your way. Even if it's 10 bucks or 20 bucks a month, right? It's not gonna take you that much money to get to that point. And that's already like your phone bill paid for. Or a couple of home cooked meals every single month. That is something. And that's what I mean when I say that gradual freedom is so important. And also saving money and investing it diligently in dividend growth stocks has actually allowed me to fulfill one of my lifelong dreams. And that is to own a dog. Because I work from home, because I've got my own business, I can have a dog. I live in a flat, right? So it means that I don't have a garden. And if I went to work in an office every single day, it wouldn't really be that fair on a dog to just be in a flat by himself, right? So because I work home, I actually have Whiskey. Here he is on your screen. I love him. He's such a cutie. It was always one of my dreams since I was a kid to own a dog. And because of passive income, I've actually been able to achieve this. So think about this. What dreams, what things have you always wanted to do and you just can't do them because you need to work for money? Well, the more passive income you earn, the more freedom you'll have to be able to do the things that you want to do. Okay, so earlier in the video, I promised you that I will show you a 5-step system to be able to get to this point, to be able to get to financial independence, full freedom in life, okay? And that's got 5 steps. Step number 1 is that you must track everything. Not everything, just your money, okay? But you must be able to know where your money is going, how much money you're saving, because everybody pretty much knows how much they earn, right? Everyone loves that, but most people don't actually know where their money is going. They don't know what expenses their money is going into. Therefore, unless you track your expenses, and unless you track your investments, you're not really going to be able to be in a position where you can reach financial independence, or it's going to take you a lot longer. So that is step numero uno. Step number 2 is to save more money. In other words, you have to learn to be frugal. Now, I've personally learned an awful lot from Mr. Money Mustache, okay? When I was first starting out into my journey to financial independence, I actually stumbled upon Mr. Money Mustache. And now he's this really big blogger, this really big personality. But I'm gonna link to an article in the description that really helped me to see how frugality is so important to be able to have more freedom. Because if you're frugal, if you actually spend less, and I don't mean being cheap, by the way, okay? There's a really big difference between being frugal and actually only spending what you really need and being cheap. Big difference. Now, this is important. Being frugal and then spending less money actually does 2 things. It has 2 effects on how quickly you can get to financial independence. Number 1 is that by spending less, you can actually save more, right? The more you save, the higher your savings rate is and the quicker you can get to financial independence. But the second thing that it does, and the not so obvious thing, is that by spending less money, you actually need less money to live, which means that the passive income that your assets need to generate is a lot smaller, okay? Therefore, that target is smaller and your savings rate can already go up, right? That's why it's so important to be frugal, because you do those 2 things. Point number 3 is to earn more money. I know this sounds obvious. Obviously, if I earn more money, I could get to that point much quicker. But hear me out, okay? There's often a cap to how much money you can actually save, because it's not that you can actually live with $0, right? Or with $1 a year. There is a cap. There is only so much money you can save. Therefore, the other side of the equation is how much money you can earn. And there is no real cap to that. You could earn $20,000 a year, or you could earn $20 million a year. It can all be done, and there are people that actually earn billions every year, okay? That's why I say that if you are able to earn more, you can actually get to financial independence much, much quicker by increasing that really important savings rate. Now, really quickly, what you can do to increase your earnings, first of all, is to learn. The more you learn, the more courses you take, the more studies, the more experience you get, the higher job roles you're going to be able to get, all right? Let's say you decide to get a master's in something in your field, that should be able to give you access to much higher paid jobs, okay? So that's what you can do if you have a job. Something else that you can do, and that is something that I'm personally doing, is something that actually leverages your time. Something that you can actually work a certain amount and it's not going to be directly proportional to how much money you make. For example, I've been designing a piece of software called Dividend Compass. It's not released yet, but basically it's a software that lets you track your dividends, lets you analyze companies really quickly. The amount of work that I've done is the same whether I have 1 user or I have 10,000 users. The amount of work doesn't change. That's why if you are able to do something related to a business, that's a really good way to earn more income. Now, what a lot of people do is that they have a side hustle, They have a job and in the evenings or weekends, they actually work on their side business. Something that with not that much work, they can actually earn, $100, $200 a month, maybe an extra $1,000 a month that can really improve that savings rate. I can really speed up the process to becoming financially independent and retiring early. Okay, step number 4 is to invest your money. I know I've left it at number 4, but if you don't have those 3 things in place first, step number 4 is not going to be that important. Now, the way that I prefer to invest, what I'm personally doing is investing in dividend growth stocks. Those are companies, like I said, really well-established companies that are able to grow the dividends every single year. So you're pretty certain, obviously it's not guaranteed, but you're pretty certain that you're going to be able to earn more money with dividends 1 year than you did the year before. Now, I've actually got a series of videos called Dividend Kings. I'm going to link it up here. There's going to be a playlist on every single one of the Dividend Kings. I'm still working my way through it. But basically, these are companies, the Dividend Kings are companies that have a dividend growth streak, which means that they've been increasing their dividends every single year for over 50 years. There's also the Dividend Aristocrats that have also been doing that for 25 years. Pretty much all those companies are spectacular companies. They have been shown to beat the overall stock market over long periods of time, and those companies pay you dividends. And those dividends are what you're going to be able to need to fund your life. That's the passive income that's really going to grant you eternal life. No, not eternal life. What am I talking about? Not eternal life, freedom. Sorry, I've been watching Indiana Jones and I watched The Last Crusade recently. That's what I'm thinking of. The Holy Grail and Eternal Life. Great movie, by the way. I really recommend you watch it if you haven't done so. But yeah, you need to invest in dividend growth stocks. If you don't want to do that, index funds are also a really good option and they're quite beginner friendly. Then finally, step number 5, and this is possibly the hardest step, and that is to be patient, because you're going to have to let time do its work. You're going to have to let compound interest work its magic on your wealth and your freedom, okay? Now, you can actually speed that up by reinvesting all your dividends, especially if you have a job and you're not using your dividends to actually live, like I'm personally doing. I'm using a lot of my dividends to pay for a lot of my bills. That is not ideal, but that's only because I've got a business and it's not quite at the level that I want it to be. But if you have a job and that job covers all your expenses and you're able to save money, then I really encourage you to reinvest all your dividends, because that's going to dramatically speed up the process of becoming financially independent. But that is the truth, guys. This is not fun. It's not fast. You're not going to get rich quickly with this. You're actually going to get rich very slowly. It's not a glamorous thing. It's not like buying Tesla stock and making huge profits or trading, day trading, right? Those things are high risk, potentially high reward, but what I'm talking about is medium risk, medium gains. But over time, guys, it's been shown for decade after decade that this really works. Investing in established companies that pay dividends is genuinely a strategy that works, that has worked for centuries before, and that is always going to continue to work, at least for as long as there is an economy to speak of, right? So those are the 5 steps, guys, okay? If you follow those 5 steps, you should be able to reach financial independence pretty quickly in life, much quicker than actually waiting for retirement and hoping that your government pays for some of your expenses. So let me know in the comments below what you're doing to reach financial independence quicker, and whether you actually want to reach full financial independence. Perhaps you only want to cover a few of your bills, or you really want to travel the world and have all your expenses covered forever and ever. Let me know in the comments. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. I put a lot of effort into these videos and I would love to continue doing that, but your support means a lot to me and it's actually going to let me keep doing this with my time, keep creating these videos, keep providing value to you guys, my audience. I love you guys. Thank you for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. That happened a couple of weeks ago. But yeah guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really helps the YouTube algorithm to show it to more people. And yeah, let me know if you got any ideas for future videos. I love reading your ideas. Yeah, that is it from me for now. I'll see you next week with the next video. Have a great day. I'll see you later. Bye.